In the last video, I showed you how to create a Google Kubernetes Engine cluster using the console in Google Cloud. Now let's see how to do it programmatically. So here I am in Google Kubernetes Engine. Let's start up Cloud Shell. Now the command for creating a cluster with gcloud is gcloud container clusters create. Then you have to name the cluster. So we'll call it Doug's cluster. And then you specify parameters in name value pairs. So for example, if you wanted to specify the zone parameter, you could say something like zone equals US-east 4-A, and so on. And then you would continue adding parameters for all the things you want to change from their defaults when you create the cluster. So this command would be the minimal command that we could specify. And that would work, and that would create our cluster using all the default values for nodes and node sizes and so on and so forth. But now, what if you want to change many of the parameters? Typing that command is going to take you a long time to work out what all the parameter values are. So there's an easier way to do it, or an easier way to figure out how to build the command with all your parameters. So if we go back here to the console, then we can click on this button, Create Cluster. And this is what we did in the last video. So let's fill in a form. I want to create a cluster called Doug's cluster, and then we're going to put it in our zone, US East 4A, and then maybe we'll change a couple things about the nodes. So maybe I want 2 nodes instead of 3. And maybe I want to enable auto scaling. So I want to scale between 2 and maybe 8 nodes. And maybe I want to change the size of the virtual machines I'm using. So instead of the default, maybe we'll make the machines a little smaller, and so on and so forth. So all these tabs within this form allow you to customize how you want that cluster to be built. But again, we want to automate this, and we want to do it with we want to create the cluster with a gcloud command. So what we really need are all those corresponding parameter values that we're setting whenever we make a change. So the easy way to do that is fill out the form, but then rather than hitting the create button when you're ready to create your cluster, just click on the command line link here. And this will give you the gcloud command that you can run to create the cluster as you've configured it within that form. So we could just grab that here, and then we can copy that code to the clipboard and paste it in our script, or I guess we could just run that command in Cloud Shell if we prefer. And notice the command will get pasted in the Cloud Shell for us, and then we can run it from there. Anyway, let's see if it works. Click Enter, and that's going to create our cluster. And again, the cluster will take a couple minutes to be created. In this demo, I showed you how to create a cluster programmatically using gcloud. I'm Doug Renstrom with ROI Training.